Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Afro National, yeah, they did say that in the song. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. That still don't mean that she doesn't want your money though. And Afro National says, all my yitches independent. That part. And actually, right. So shout out to y'all who checked out the links in the description. The song, that part, the remix with Kendrick, obviously. And shout out to those of you who watched Abba and Preach's video, especially after the about 10-minute, 10.5-minute mark, 10-minute, 30-second mark. Abba and Preach, to me, were just firing on all cylinders. Um, this is a sickness, right? So, Abba speaks about the entitlement. And for those of you that don't know, Abba and Preach are reviewing a video where two women are speaking about one of their friends who goes out on a couple of dates, right? So she goes on 3 dates. The first one leads to the second one. So the man, and this is a woman, the man pays for the first date, the man pays for the second date. The third date, there's some issues with money or whatever, so she pays for the third date. Um, he texts her after the third date, says, you're a cool person, but I don't really see this going much further, whatever, whatever. She feels like she got stuck with the bill. Her friend, the one on the show, says, hey, send him the half the bill, right? Half the bill of the of the third date. So she does that, and this man apparently sends her the bill for the first 2 dates. Now, these women are now speaking about the dating scene, and one of them, to me, the cuter one, says, I'm so glad I'm not in the dating scene anymore. I'm so glad. I would never want to be, essentially, around men who do this. What is really frightening about this, what is supremely frightening, is exactly what Abba and Preach are speaking about. The social contract has been shredded. Absolutely, totally shredded. And the women are who shredded the contract. Women writ large, in our cases, black men, black women, have shredded the contract. They do want to work. They do want to make good money. Yes, many women, some of them don't want to be stay-at-home mothers. Some of them want to work. They want to climb up the corporate ladder. They have their own life. They have their own ambition, right? They don't just want to be mothers. Cool, fine. And as Abba was saying, yeah, and then they can spend money on their children. They can spend money on their homegirls. They can even spend money on their LGBTQ homeboys, their guy friends. But when it comes to their intimate partner, their lover, their whatever man is attempting to court them or date them, they just can't do it. It dries the vagina right on up. As Chris Rock said, women spending money on men just dries the vagina right on up. And nothing that these people are doing on the right or the left can fix that. We're waiting. Trell says, nah, Z, it's not that they ripped it up. Trell says, nah, Z, they took the contract and wiped their butt with it. Right? It's not the men. Y'all saw how FD tried to reframe what I was saying on the second conversation we had. We were talking about stay-at-home mothers and how he made his wife a stay-at-home mother and whatnot. Y'all saw he tried to reframe that. If the women said lifestyle or nothing, if the women said when I get preggers, when I find I'm preggers, I better be able to stay home the whole 10 months. Screw it. Give me a year. Right? If the women said that, fine. The issue is the women don't want to hold up the other end of the bargain. As Abba was saying, there's a certain way you have to comport yourself. Fine, I have no problem playing the masculine role. Then you got to play a certain role also. And that's why the women say no. To Abba, to Preach, to everyone who will listen, the women said no. Men still have to be obligated. Women, no. We get to freestyle. That's why I said patriarchy by feminist specifications. That's why I continue to stress the provide, protect, and shut up. Yes, men still provide, men still protect, but men don't exercise. Shout out to Sarge Willie Pete. Men don't assert any of what comes from the protection and the provision. They don't have the last word. They don't sit at the head of the table. For the brothers that care about the quote unquote big piece of chicken, they don't get that. Absolutely not. Your your payment is her presence, and that should suffice. The women are screaming it from the mountaintops, like I said to FD signifier. The women are screaming it from the mountaintops, and y'all are ignoring what the boys and the men are saying. The women are screaming from the mountaintops, and y'all are sticking your fingers in your ear. And the best y'all can ever do is attempt to reframe it in a way that doesn't sound as toxic, as hypocritical. It's just bad business practices. It's just bad, right? It's just bad business practices. And the boys and the men are supposed to eat that unless they want to be labeled any type of sexist or misogynistic or misogynist or dusty or zesty or sassy, any type of pejorative that we tack on to men, in our case, particularly black men. So take this double standard deal or be labeled with any type of pejorative. And as Abba was saying, these women are often six-figure women, and they still looking at men like they're nothing but walking wallets and overglorified guard dogs. As we've seen in the black manosphere and the black left and the left in general struggle to actually vocalize because they're never going to do it. Yes, even the educated women, even the well-resourced women, they still want men that earn more than them. I said it, FD. We call it hypergamy over here. Huh? Listen to these women talk. They didn't see anything wrong with the homegirl. He paid for the first two dates with no issue. She paid for the third one. He told her, hey, this is not going to work out. And she wants half the money back, and that's equal. So he pays for 2.5 dates, and that's equal. Okay, yeah, that's it. Huh? And I will tell you, even when women are the ones who suggest, they're the ones who ask you out, excuse me, you are still the one supposed to pay. Fine. Okay, cool. As Abba said, and I agree. Fine, I'll play that masculine role. Are you gonna play the feminine role? Uh-oh. Now we get into some sexism talk. Huh. I said it. The left been knowing. The left has been knowing. The right has been knowing. They're just trying to gaslight these young men into taking on this raw deal, right? No pun intended. This raw deal for little to nothing. And as Dr. Richard Reeves said, when the woman has full ability and most likely 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times, she's going to exercise that exit power. 50% divorce rate in America. And it's women who initiate it 7, 8, 9 out of 10 times. Huh? 7, 8, 9 out of 10 times women initiate the divorce. And that's the exit power that they wield. And yet the men and the young men and the just men are just supposed to sign up for that. Or Dave Ramsey will turn around and tell you don't have no grit. Or Steve Harvey will tell you it's your job to take care of a wife and some kids. Not these a-hole daughters y'all been raising for the past few decades. Absolutely not. Huh? whether they're educated or not, whether they have money or not, light skin, dark skin, right winger, left winger, East Coast, West Coast, down south, Midwest, Pacific Northwest, it doesn't matter. ADOS, FBA, black immigrant, children of black immigrant, it doesn't matter. Huh? And Trell says, fine, if I pay, she lay. Hysterical. Els Active says, my pay, my way. He also says, my pay, my say. Vince says, normalize using your exit power correctly. So I definitely want to cover this. I definitely want to get in on this. No pun intended, but because this is exactly what we speak about, right? Abba also speaks about women weaponizing their incompetence. And this weaponizing damsel in distress for me. He gives a story of going out on a date with a woman. She Ubers there, and then when it's time to Uber to leave, she somehow Uber got deleted from her phone. Yeah, Abba, because you were supposed to pay. The women are saying to men, my money is my money, and your money is my money also. Women are saying to men, your money is my money, and my money is my money. They never wanted equality, y'all. Huh? And as Abba and Preach were getting to, um, we're also speaking about women that have access to like elite men, and they're the ones giving advice, and they're the ones telling you, I'm telling y'all, I'm not about taking these people's mics. I am about telling them to shut the hell up. It's these weirdos and these outliers with all of the talk, all of the commentary, all of what they won't do, all of the, I wouldn't be with a man like that. It's all of these weirdo outliers with all of to say. The 0.1%, the 0.5%, the top 1%, the top 5% with all of the say. And as I continue to say, these women just infuse other women with all of the angst in the world. As Abba was saying, you could say all of that when you dating NFL players and NBA players and you just going back to back, and eventually one of these lame ass dudes is gonna marry you. Tick, tick, tick. Right? Shout out to Pusha T. Yeah, he's gonna be sick, sick, sick. He's gonna be sick when he realizes that you played his ass after you filed for divorce 2 and 3 years after his NFL contract ended. Oops. Or his NBA contract ended. Yikes. Huh? But it's women like this giving all of the commentary. Women like Bowser, Ivy League educated, short troll, giving all of the commentary. Women like Chrissy who feel undesirable because of her skin tone, giving all of the commentary. Huh? And Harambe, I was gonna get to it too. And Harambe says the worst of them are Yanni and Amani. Amani talks, right? Real talk with Yanni, former big girl, sounds traumatized as hell, perpetual victim of everyone. Former friends, ex-boyfriends, The fact, Anton, the fact that you let this lady son you is astounding to me. You let her mommy the hell out of you. It's Anton with all the bravado in the world. Whether it's last night's conversations or whether it's on his own channel, you hear the way Anton talk, and he let Yanni son him. The decenter men lady, huh? Vince is they're scaring away all the relationships while you BSing. Vince, you're 100% correct. And if you scare away the relationships, dear women, we won't have kids with you. I don't want kids anyway. We won't have. Not only will we not have the relationship, we are not paying. Golden Girls, future, here we come. Huh? And y'all gives you 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. That's what I forgot. Okay, I remember it now. Okay, and we're back. Um, when preaches, a lot of women worship. Excuse me, mistake love for worship. Oh boy. So y'all have heard Z say this. Y'all have heard other black men in the black manosphere say this. Y'all know, Mr. Z got to mention white women because black women feel like, and this is we're speaking about black women, black adjacent women. So air quotes adjacent women. So this is like some of your Latinas that grew up in the hood or around black folks. Your Afro Latinas, right? Your these type of people. For them, white women are worshipped, and so they demand that black men worship them. This is how you make up for not being, once again, a white man. It is worship, not love. It is worship. And if you let certain women speak long enough, they'll tell you, yeah, because we, black women in particular, we're the first women, we bring life into this world. Huh? It is worship. It's good to let the women talk. I know they can be insufferable. I know it's going to take forever for them to get to the point if they ever get to the point. But let them talk, and they're only going to confirm what we have been saying here for a good decade now. Let the women talk. Let them talk. And then watch as people like FD scramble to excuse me, contextualize and reframe what the women are saying. That sounds toxic and sexist and misandrist because it's, toxic, sexist, and misandrist. Huh? Man. And I'm Waffle says Yanni had a photo of Anton's wife and daughter on it on the thumbnail, so I guess he was trying to play it cool. The fact Yanni did something that petty though speaks volumes. Yanni is the perpetual victim. Have you ever hear her stories? from her homegirls to women that her former roommates to the men she's dated. And she pulls stunts like that. Decenter men. What's the incentive? I want to be a kept woman of leisure. That lady. That lady. It's a whole lot of these weirdo. One of y'all could tell me who was the white streamer guy who got into it with a white woman that streams also. It might even been Twitch related. I can't remember exactly. And the white woman literally was recording herself in front of his house. Like she Googled his address and she was recording herself in front of his house. Then she played victim until enough of her subscribers started leaving and pressing her, and then she apologized. And it was still somewhat of a halfway apology. We don't even get that in the black community, to be frank with you. Huh? What you see here is women have, and we've known this literally for a century now, women have normalized foodie calls. Women have normalized foodie calls. They're supposed to be able to extort you. Extort? You're trying to extort me? They're supposed to be able to extort you whether they have money or not. They're supposed to be able to extort you for dinner, for lunch. That is their right as a woman. And you as a man are supposed to eat that. Pun intended. Huh? Wow. These women sat here and recorded themselves speaking like this. And some rich, square ass NBA, NFL entertainer, some type of entertainer somewhere, one of these brothers is sitting there watching that, probably not got better things to do with their time, but sitting there watching that, saying, you know what, yeah, you right, you right. Well, that's a cheap ass, that's a bum. Yeah, it's a Shudder's reference. Easy 2878 says Shudder's reference. Right? Huh. These outliers, they really recorded themselves saying this. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine that the men aren't paying for every single date? Can you imagine? Can you imagine that she sends him half the bill for the third date and then he sends her the bill for the first 2 days that he paid the whole thing with no problem? Can you imagine? Look at these bums, these losers. Oh my God, ladies, this is what we're left with in the dating scene. Men that actually want equality when we say we want equality. Oops. Men that actually think that we mean egalitarian when we say egalitarian. No, we mean patriarchy by feminist specifications. Thank you, Adric. Sniper Wolf doxed, right? Can you imagine these men actually have the gumption and the wherewithal to not pay for everything? Huh? And you're probably right about that. And Harambe says, Anton can't go harder at her. Some pun in there somewhere. Anton can't go harder at her because she'll claim intimidation slash threat. Probably. You're probably right about that. I'll agree with that. I agree. That's another catch 22 about being a man. Women can talk to you crazy. Women can threaten you. Women can intimidate you or attempt to intimidate you. They can insult you. They can belittle you. And any type of response, any type of real response, is going to be met with all type of accusations of sexism, misogyny, misogynorism in our case, being condescending, tone policing, etc., etc. We are telling men and boys to not fight back no matter what girls and women do. It doesn't matter. Eat it. And there's only a very select few of men and boys who can actually afford to do that. The elite. And even them, not so much, but the elite. Elizabeth Warren tried to say Bernie Sanders was on some sexist stuff out of all people. That's the country we live in. Spare me. Huh? You want to put the brakes on a man, start accusing him of all type of sexism, all type of misogyny, preying on women, etc., etc. Right? Inappropriate behavior around women or children. Huh? And this society has weaponized that. And women, average women, go right along with it. And I'm perfectly okay with that. Eat your singleness. Eat your loneliness. Black women, eat your poverty. Oops. Eat you locking yourself out of middle class stability. Yikes. Nothing wrong with women going along with the state, black women going along with the white state on regulating your average man. Nothing wrong with that. Eat what comes with that, though. Huh? Median income for black women is some 30 some odd $1,000. Huh? 23% of black women are some type of same sex loving. Huh? Yeah. Wow. So this is the dating scene. And instead of us warning our sons about these predatory ass women, these cold, calculated, callous ass, predatory ass women, instead of us warning our sons about that, on the other hand, we're warning our daughters about some dude preying on her and trying to get the vagina. Huh? We're not raising our sons about emotionally and mentally abusive women and maybe even physically abusive. No, we're raising our sons that women and girls are sugar and spice and everything nice, and the boys, well, huh? No sexism here, huh? And Kobe says, if this is their future, I'm about to buy stock in the Rose toy. Man, you might be too late on that one. That stock price might be skyrocketing right now. This is what the women want. Then eat it. Because let me be very clear. First, they're not doing the social math. Secondly, the idea is they're going to fail into success. Yeah, you heard right. They're going to fail into success. They're going to hold out for the rich baller dudes who will pay for all the dates and buy her affection. They'll try to hold out for him. And when he smashes and dashes, or when he never pays her the time of day in the first place, then they get old enough, right? And pull a rabbit out the hat and end up with the brothers that were drooling over them for the past 15, 20 years. You think that's not Melissa Ford's whole plan? Huh? That's the goal here. You hold out for the baller guy. Remember, he got to ignore your past. He got to ignore that he sees something about your personality that's off putting, right? So the women are holding out for that. And when that comes up, Snake Eyes, now what? Now you settle for the dude that may not be as attractive, may not earn as much, may not be as charismatic as you would like. But he's stable enough, right? And that's for the women that will go that way. The other women told you they're going to throw a temper tantrum to death. They are going to remain single. And for those women, honestly, I would rather it be like that. Right? The problem is that women like that just keep on throwing salt in the game. I'm perfectly okay with the women that said, I don't want that Negro. I want that Negro. Right? I don't want one of those dudes. I want that dude. And they hold out until death. If I can't have a guy like this, the delusion, then I don't want anything. Look, more women need to be like that. Yeah, I said that earlier line. And Lion says, Preet said, some women mistake love for worship. That is not equality. They never wanted equality in the first place. In my point exactly. Right? Exactly, Lion. A single by choices. Huh? They never wanted equality in the first place. Shout out to BGS for spreading it. Yes, that is why I came up with the term patriarchy by feminist specifications. Y'all make sure to give me my props. Because that's what it always was. And they think they can browbeat the men, but definitely the boys. They really are trying to get the boys to participate without ever taking stock of, wait a minute, how much of me am I giving away for free? That rhymes, I know. How much of me am I giving away for free? Huh. Huh? They want the boys to still protect women, and you hear them kind of goading on men. Who was the lady that BGS and I also reviewed her a few months ago from the what, it wasn't the United Nations. It was the World Economic Forum. There we go. The lady from the World Economic Forum that tried to mock men by saying, aren't y'all supposed to be real men, essentially? The provide protect part. Because they realize that more and more men across the West, across the quote unquote developed nations, are saying, fine, if we can't exercise none of the power, but we're supposed to give up all of our resources, we'll just back away. We'll just go spend our money on talking about big rims. We'll just spend our money on our cars and on our hobbies, on a really dope computer, on a lifted truck, on our sports cars and muscle cars, on our video game systems, on our clothes and wardrobe. We'll take your daughters out, right? We'll spend money on her just to pipe, huh? They realize the young men are doing more and more of that. And so now they're trying to mock them and goad them in different ways. And I can't remember the lady's name from the World Economic Forum. That's what she tried to do on the interview, speaking about the quote unquote manosphere and whatnot, and how tenuous the progress of women is. Huh? But then also Dr. Richard Reeves, who also said, no, a real man, they men overproduce. That's what make a man a man. I see that's not, it's not real men. And he's saying that these young men are backing away. That's not real manhood. No. Stop with all the crap of attempting to get these boys and men to overproduce for your a-hole daughters. Absolutely not. Tell her to starve. Huh? No, women will play the game, or they can marry the state. Go negotiate with the state then. You won't negotiate with a man, then no, go negotiate with the state. Have fun with that. Shout out to all of you who think you're going to get more taxes out of men. By the way, men still pay the lion's share of taxes. Huh? So this is the goal. Now they're literally telling you, you pay for the first two dates, they pay for the third date, it doesn't work out, and now they want to send you at least half the bill for the third date. At least half the bill. Let's be honest. They still, if it really was up to her, she would have sent the bill for the whole third date. Huh? Wow. Look, I'm gonna highlight this for a little bit. And Lion says, "Welcome to modern dating, where men have to practice self-improvement only to end up dating women who practice self-sabotage." You imagine, brother in the gym all the time, earning 70, 75, 80 grand a year plus, making sure to work on all of his negatives, right? Only for America and the world to offer him mid-ass women. At best, slightly overweight women with a hang up. Gold digging, mean, condescending, rude, entitled, snarky, mid-ass women. At best. Bowser looking ass women. Lizzo looking ass women. Huh? Mr. Z, you didn't mention Gabby Sidibe. Gabby Sidibe's married. If you ever seen an interview of her, she's nice as hell. I'm not gonna throw her under the bus. Huh? Lizzo, on the other hand, oh boy, do what she want to do, and then when the media or society says, actually, we would rather you not wear the assless chaps, she plays victim. Bowser, on the other hand, plays victim after she engages in the mudslinging. Better you said Diglett, right? So let's read that again. Lion says, and this is a genius comment, "Welcome to modern dating, where the men have to practice self-improvement only to end up dating women who practice self-sabotage." Huh? Women who are in 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100, 120, 150, 200, 250. I'm not lying. $250,000 of student loan debt, own a Tesla Model 3 they can barely afford, paying half of the rent at a luxury condo that they can barely afford, and their homegirl who's sharing the other part of the luxury condo could barely afford it too. At best, if you're lucky, she's slightly overweight, but the fat hits certain curves, so you're like, okay, at best. Huh? That's the financial part. We didn't even start speaking about her personality. Oh boy. Huh? Yeah. That is what black men are left with in the black community. Women who continue to tell you how much better they're doing than black men. Meanwhile, black men are doing better. But also, these women still expect you to pay for everything. Wait a minute, I thought you were the one that's kick ass. Huh? According to Rebecca Lynn Pope and Tyler Perry, the black women are earning more than black men now. Why aren't you paying for the dates? Oops. Huh? Black women are outpacing black men. Huh? So why aren't you paying for the dates? And making reference to what I said earlier about the 23% of black women who are same sex loving. So when I read the article again, and I read it from multiple places now, so they're speaking about the whys, and nobody's saying. In one of them, the Christian one reference. By the way, I'm going to post this in my community tab in a little bit. Um, said stuff of, obviously they bring up black men's incarceration, but they also say, well, black men's incarceration rate has been declining. Huh? So why are so many black women same sex loving? Oh, it got to be the corn. The corn is the reason why. And the number one search um in corn is same sex loving woman, lesbian, right? And black people consume more corn than white folks. So that's the reason why. No, admit it. Black women make themselves insufferable to black men, and then white men won't marry them. White men don't take them serious. Shout out to Accountable Commentary. White men take them on the Tizzy tour and then drop them back off. He's done, right? Sex fun with a black woman, knocked off the bucket list check. Excuse me, knocked off the bucket list check. Huh? Yeah. Huh. And let's read this. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And Harambe says, thank you for the super chat. The older I get, I understand how the elite said to hell with men, family, and children. They cherish women consumer base um of all at any cost. Yeah, no, I think our economy turned really dark in the 80s. There's an argument to be made that we said, and as you're saying, Harambe, to hell with everything, money over everything, literally MOE. America and by and large the West said MOE, money over everything. We don't care how we get it, get it. Huh? So if we can make money off of married people, we'll make money off of them that way. If we can make money off of them getting divorced, we'll make money off of them that way. If we can make money off of raising the children, namely the girls, off of being hyper consumers, we'll get money that way. Right? We could get money off of we could circulate dollars through the prison system with incarcerating a bunch of men, black men. We'll do it that way. We can educate these young people and put them in $1 zillion of student loan debt. We'll make money that way. In the 21st century, especially post-COVID, we can buy up all the homes and keep it on the renters market because we didn't price them out of the house. So we'll just take the home, keep it on the renters market, and then make money off of them perpetually forever, not just 30-year mortgage. So I agree with you, Harambe. It looks like the U.S. and by and large the West said, you know what, we're going to make money off of our own citizens coming and going. Pun intended. come in and go, and we do not care. We're going to make money off of them every which way humanly possible. Huh? And there's a cost to that, right? We'll make money off of them in divorce court. We'll make money off of them and through child support. We're gonna tax everything. We're gonna make money off on them on everything. Nothing moves. What did D boy say? Nothing moves in this city without me touching it. Oh, that's not the D boys. That's the loan shark people, and that's the what do they call those people? Oh man, it's slipping my mind right now. Oh, I forgot the name of this thing that I'm trying to say. But yeah. And Kobe says we can get money off of selling on drugs to the inner cities. We can make money that way. Yo, make money any way and every way humanly possible. Huh? And once again, Harabe, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. But I agree with you. At any cost, any way humanly possible. And so we living in a dating market like that, right? And these women have the nerve to be speaking about a woman paying for the third date and then feeling like she got, feeling like she got played. And so she sends at least half the bill to this man. What? I want men to understand what we're saying. A woman can go on one, two, three, four, five, however many dates with you. She could not give you the vagina. Okay, fine. Her right, human being, cool. Anything short of that is obviously SA or grape. Okay, cool. You can pay for all of those dates. It is very possible that you could have came out your pocket $250, $500, maybe more on three, four, five plus dates. She can break it off with you because once again the ick, or she don't like the way you chew, once again the ick, or something you said, fine. Or she realized, you know what, this is not a match. Okay, cool. And she could have gotten $500 worth of experiences and meals and trips and maybe more money out of you, and then ended it, and you're just supposed to eat that. Huh? You are supposed to just eat that this didn't work out. And now you are $500 poorer. And these women are fretting about half of a bill. In the dating world, in the marriage world, in the love world, in the intimacy world, there are no guarantees. What we do is try to mitigate for the fallout. That is what dating is. That is what courting is. You are literally interviewing someone to see if you can make it work with them. Right? Are they compatible enough? Right? Are y'all headed in similar direction? Huh? It's all a big gamble. And women decided that men are going to pay for the gamble every single time. You even have them on one end attempting to justify it. And I should have put that in here also if I could find it. The TikTok with the Canadian light skinned black women who said essentially, yeah, because we weren't able to get our credit card until the 1970s by ourselves, and we weren't able to own property, and so what? Young men in the 21st century are supposed to pay for that by paying for everything to snarky ass asshole women like you? Absolutely not. Shout out to whoever you are who has her as a girlfriend. right? You know how she thinks. You know how she feels, right? They will go anywhere. I recall reading a comment from a young lady a couple years ago who went all the way to the west coast of Africa to justify why black men ain't ish. Huh? Anything to justify why they are on what they're on and why you should pay for everything while exercising none of the power that comes from that. Will they be logically consistent? No. Huh? And once again, Harambe, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And Mr. Shug to use his, Kevin Samuel said it best. You don't want the guy to expect anything, then women need to pay for dates. I'm sure they won't be so ballerific after fronting that bill on a nightly basis. Bro, women are not trying to spend $120 on no damn date, bro. Dinner and a movie, going out to a restaurant randomly, they're not trying to spend that money. They're not trying to spend 150 on a date, bro. A couple of drinks at an okay restaurant. They're not even trying to spend 60, 70 bucks at a hole in the wall with really good food. Because as Abba said, it's something, and as Chris Rock said, shout out to Chris Rock, it's something about spending money on a man, not an LGBTQ man, right? It's something about spending money on a man that you're dating that just dries the vagina right on up. Uh, 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 except if you're Chad Chattington. If you're Chad Chattington, then she sees it as an investment and she'll do it. Anything short of Chad Chattington, oh no, they can't do it. They can't do it. Absolutely not. You got to recall because many women see that they feel like they settled for you. They see it as they settled for you. So why would they spend money on something they settled for? See, they'll spend money on Chad Chattington. They will spend, and this is what you hear Jason Black stresses all the time on the business. That's what Chris Brown is exposing with these women spending over $1,000 to take a picture with him. They will spend money for the off chance that they'll end up with Chad Chattington. But every other dude they feel like they settled for. Yes, even you who's subsidizing her right now. That's why these women have no problem saying, yeah, I was engaged and, I would do it again. My boyfriend broke up with me. My fiance broke up with me. I would do it again. So of course she can't spend money on you, or spending money on you makes her cringe, gives her the ick. You're not Chad Chattington. You're the best she could get for the time being. That's the same thing that the lady was. God, I'm so that Obsidian channel got deleted. It was gonna take me a bit to find the video anyway, but the fact that it got deleted from YouTube, geez. But that's what the lady was attempting to say on Obsidian's channel. Once again, y'all have heard me use this example before. She used the lead attorney as as Chad Chattington essentially, and was saying, look, we're holding out for the lead attorney. That's our ideal. But if we can't get him, then we will get married, we will have children, whatever. But in the back of our minds, it's still all about the lead attorney. And the reason why we talk to the men, our boyfriends, our husbands, the way we do, our baby daddies, the way we do, the way we act the way we do, is because you're not the one. It was always supposed to be the lead attorney. Thank you. Then this is my point. And Els Active says you're a placeholder. And you being a placeholder can last 6 months, 9 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, your whole entire lifetime. But once Chad Chattington walks in the door, or he could get the draws. He could get the draws. He could get the vagina. Whether he wants it or not is a completely different story, but he could get the vagina. You're just lucky that She never came into contact with Chad Chattington, or Chad Chattington had better things to do, or Chad Chattington himself was disgusted by her, right? You see this, yo. I in real life, I got a couple of boys that kind of went through this. Some of us have cousins that went through this, guy cousins that went through this. They were with their baby mama or they were with their wife for how long, and the dude from high school came back in the picture and she stepped out. Now, whether he divorced her or not, or whether they broke up or not, that's a different conversation. But the dude from high school popped back up in the picture. This is the dude that she was drooling over forever. Either they used to have a little thing together, but they never did anything, or she was looking at him longingly in high school and he didn't pay her any attention, but now he's like, you know what, let me double back in that direction. So here you are paying for kids, doing things, being a good dad, etc., etc., and dude from high school walks back in the picture, and there you go. Huh? Dude from high school, dude from college, right? Dude from 2 and 3 jobs ago. Yep. We are human beings. We need to end this way of speaking about women like they're morally superior to men. Like, oh no, they're beyond that. That's not a woman thing. That's a man thing. BS. Women just move slightly differently than the men. Huh? Exactly. And better uses. Remember, we need to talk video about the wife that started hitting after losing a few pounds? Yeah. Tia Mowry, anyone? Oops. You lose a few pounds at work. Excuse me, you lose a few pounds. Dudes at work that either ignored you or were like meh about you before. Y'all flirting, y'all talking. You end up stepping out on your husband. You end up leaving your husband because you think dude is supposed to leave his wife for you. Y'all supposed to both leave y'all spouses for each other. Dude stays with his wife. Your husband ends up divorcing you. I can't recall if her husband divorced her. I think it was that. And now the ex-husband is married with a kid and everything is good now. You just out here looking sad. And other dude never left his wife for you. Huh? And this is the dating, mating, marriage scene that men and black men in particular are just supposed to go in naive, right? And Better You says he did divorce her, and she said she'd do it over. She said she'll do it over again. Shaking my head, huh? It's and I think I really do have to do a part two because I said I was going to do a part two, and this was forever going. I need to do a part two on hetero pessimism and how women often. And this is the 304s are winning conversation that you hear women have all the time, and it's essentially what's the point? And I agree with Jason Black when he mentions Kamala Harris. Um, and shout out to Art New Style. I listened in for only like 10 minutes because I had to go to sleep, and I'm probably gonna listen to as much of the stream from last night. Once again, shout out to Art New Style. Um, and that I'm gonna make a side comment in a minute. It's probably gonna last a few minutes actually, but I agree with Jason Black that if Kamala does win, you're not gonna be able to tell women, particularly the 304s, you're not gonna be able to tell them anything. That's why I told y'all, y'all remember Z said it here first. Shout out to Art Newstyle. He could recall Z saying this. Do not be surprised if Cardi B or Meg Thee Stallion become politicians in the future. I'm not joking. If Kamala becomes president, which can happen, I'm telling y'all right now, stop thinking. It's Trump's election to lose, and he can lose it. Right? I've said it before. I'm kind of annoyed that FD beat me to the punt. Well, I've said it already. I got it on wax. But FD put out a think piece about it saying he thinks Kamala's going to win. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but I'm not going to put it at no 9 and 10%. I've readjusted. I think I said that a couple weeks ago. The way it's looking right now, and the way I see JD Vance with all his cringe content that's coming out now, and Trump and them really don't know what to do with Kamala, and the fact that JD Vance said it felt like a sucker punch. The Democrats sucker punched them with Kamala. If he's not BSing, and this is not some conservative plot to pretend like they're minimizing or they're hyping up Kamala, but really they got everything sewn up. If it's not that, then this says a lot. Huh? You're not going to be able to tell women writ large, black women specifically, the 304 black women, even more specifically, you're not going to be able to tell them anything if Kamala wins. I'm tying that to what I'm saying by saying the women that say, what's the point? What's the point of comporting yourself a certain way? What's the point of being chaste? What's the point of being kind or nice or not cold and calculated and a prosecutor preying on black men? And some black women, to be frank. What's the point of being this person if the woman who wasn't that person ended up marrying a white man last quarter and taking on his children? What's the point of not doing that if the woman who did that is now sitting in the White House as president? I'm tying that to black men and to we need to talk by saying it's not only women that feel a sense of dread or are a bit pessimistic about the dating and marriage scene. It's men. Because what this society is saying to men is they're giving men the unenviable position of, once again, being providers at the highest level humanly possible. This is what Jason Black is stressing when he says, look at the house your granddad gave your grandma, and look at the house that women are demanding that you give them. You dig yourself into a 30-year mortgage for a goddamn McMansion that you mess around and slip up one wrong way at your job and you could potentially lose. Right? I'm tying that to the we need to talk and what Better You was saying by saying we're telling young men, and what you see there on the we need to talk is there is no win. There is no guarantee. And as I said earlier, we understand there's no guarantee, but there's ways you mitigate against a certain type of fallout. It's no guarantee. And what we're seeing with women is women are kind of enjoying ripping up any type of quote unquote safe space that men thought they had. Oh, you thought you were good because you married a church girl. Watch this. Huh? Oh, you thought you were good because you married the former 304 who said she got out of her system. Watch this. Oh, you thought you were good because you married the educated black woman who has a certain air about herself and a certain confidence about herself. Watch this, Ebony K. Williams. Bowser. Oh, you thought you were good. Huh? You thought you were good. You married a woman that used to get all the attention in the world. Now she's 34, 35. She done slowed down. And you think you're good. You think it's out of her system. Watch this. Oh, you're educated and you have money and you're good looking and you marry a okay looking, you marry a five. You marry a five thinking, you know what? Clearly she'll see the greatness in me and she'll, of course, she'll never step out on me. Not her. Watch this. Huh? I'm doing her right. I'm doing right by her. Clearly she won't talk crazy about me. Watch this. Huh? And you're watching women revel in just the power of just ripping up everything. Any place, anything that men think they have, particularly in the black community, any way you think you've been able to secure you just a little slice of security, just a little teeny tiny slice of security, a little nugget of security right here in the corner over here where nobody can really see you. Huh? And then you wonder why your 15-year-old, your 12 and 13-year-old young men are saying, yeah, I don't want to get married or have kids. You wonder why your young black men are saying, yeah, I don't really want to be around black women. I don't really want to marry or date a black woman. And shout out to BGS for sending me that clip. Shout out to y'all brothers for sending me the clip I was looking for with the teachers. Apparently the boy is mixed and he's 8 years old. So when you read through the comments, it's a bunch of women saying, and a couple of men, obviously black men, saying, "Oh no, he got that from home." And one of the women actually said, "Y'all should have made him apologize. Make him apologize." Right? You know, no matter what men say, women could never see it as their observation. Absolutely not. Whatever a man or a boy says, it's always, always, always seen through the lens of, well, that's because you're sexist and misogynistic and racist and you're comparing us to white women and da 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 da, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Huh? It's always somebody's father, if he's black, of course, who says this. And of course, you saw the comments of, well, if he had a black mama and a white daddy, I bet you he would have never been saying that. Yeah, he would have. Because it's never the observation from the 8-year-old. Because once again, you have 8, 9, 10, 12, and 15-year-olds with fully black parents, fully black mom, fully black dad. Dad prefers black women, and that son says, yeah, I ain't coming home with no black woman. And black women never actually ask, huh, could he be seeing something? And even the host of the show, when she says, and he said, we're loud, and she was like, oh, and you read through the comments, and not a single black woman said anything about that, but of course not. Huh? So I'm tying that to the dread that men and boys feel in this dating scene when the entire environment is telling you you are nothing but a walking wallet and overglorified guard dog and get used to it and like it. Right? Wow. Huh. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And KMS says, do women realize the zero sum game goes both ways? No, they do not. It's so bad that the only strategy I can suggest is if a chick won't let you hit for free immediately, then ask her how much it costs. Hysterical. They're not worth courting. Waste of time. Bro, they don't understand the zero sum. They really forget that men have pieces on the board also. They they don't appreciate that men have pieces on the board also. Recall the era of take their mics away. And every once in a while, you'll still hear a black woman say this, or you'll hear a woman in general say this: take their mics away. They want the game rigged. This is Bowser versus Obsidian, or in better use case, Diglett versus Obsidian. They want the game rigged in their favor. They're always going to play damsel. So, in other words, they're engaging in the mudslinging. They oftentimes instigate the mudslinging, but then they play victim because this is, like I keep on saying, black women get to traffic on damsel in distress because white women get to traffic on damsel in distress because white men need white women to play weak so that white men can white men around the planet so they can step on other people, other men around the planet. And so that's what black women engage in concerning black men. Look, white zaddy, look, he's victimizing me, he's attacking me, he's harassing me. That former Cohen star, the black one with the skinhead, white baby's father. Remember when she was like, they're harassing me? That's what she was engaging in. She's screaming to the state, white men, to come and regulate black men for her. This is the same thing Bowser engaged in when it came to Obsidian. Huh? That's why we said patriarchy by feminist specifications. They don't actually want to get away from men regulating other men for women. Huh? So yeah, they trafficking in that. And no, KMS, they are not playing the zero sum game. They don't appreciate that men have pieces on the board. What they really want, once again, is to skew the game in their favor and then not eat the consequences of the game being skewed in their favor. Exhibit A: college enrollment, college graduation. Women that earn more than their male counterparts. Once again, 40% of women earn more than their male counterparts in America, not just black women, but women writ large. Those women still, for the most part, expect to marry hypergamously. If and when they do get married, they expect to marry hypergamously. Right? So, no, these women are not taking into account that men have power in this game also. They don't appreciate that it goes both ways. They just throw a temper tantrum when it doesn't work out in their favor. That's when it's not fair. Huh? That's what it's not fair that the game was tilted in my favor. And so I'm the one with the college degree, not so much of the men in my demographic. So it's not fair that I don't get to marry hypergamously, or I could marry hypergamously, but then the man has too much power and then he's going to dictate too much. How can I get the man to marry me that I want without exercising any of that power? Huh? And asking a woman how much it costs, I mean, in the ideal world. Because if the vagina is for sale anyway, but then they want the boyfriend experience, they want the courting experience because of the attention. I would argue most women don't have it in them to be fully transactional. The wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and you leave the money on the counter. That's diesel like behavior. And they'll engage in a little bit of diesel like behavior, but that might be too transactional for them. That's why I keep on saying, dear women, stop saying marriage is a business. You really don't want what that look like. Huh? And Lion says, your college degree is useless if you're not attractive physically or mentally. That's essentially what Ebony K. Williams was saying on Stephen A. Smith's show. Not the physical part in her case, but definitely the mental and emotional part of not being attractive. That's what she was saying when she said, I looked around after graduating college, I'm around all these kick-ass women, right? And I'm assuming, let's assume that Ebony K. Williams is with other women or at that time around other black women who kind of looked like her or kind of had that, that aura about themselves, and they're highly accomplished, they're doing well, but they're all single. Yeah, because y'all are assholes. What a waste of pretty. So you're educated, well-spoken, hardworking, well-resourced assholes, and just being an asshole nullifies every single plus it you have. Pathetic. You are attractive, intelligent, educated, hardworking, famous, in Ebony K. Williams' case. You are all of that, and just being a cold, calculated asshole nullified all of your positives. Wow. Huh? KMS says they don't deserve courting. L's Active says they can't afford the boyfriend experience. Z, that's true. Actually, I would argue the average black woman cannot. The average woman cannot. Right? And once again, KMS, thank you for that super chat. Thank you for that super chat. Right? And we'll continue with this. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And KMS says, what's the incentive? Women sucking at the government teeth is futile if there is a dwindling tax base because women aren't having kids. Keep it up, and the only program will be a man's program. Yeah, they're going to play themselves out of position eventually. I agree with that. They'll play themselves out of position eventually because they're not doing the math. They're not thinking far enough. So their daughters and granddaughters will essentially just revert back to seeking men, not just for security, not just for financial security, but for all of it. And that will just be the new normal because those girls in the future, those young women in the future, not only would have witnessed their mothers and grandmothers struggling, but they will have no choice but to play ball with men. Or, and this is very important, KMS, or lobby the US government and other governments around the West to make polygamy legal so that they can be wife number 6 and 7 for the baller dude. Huh? Which I would argue, for there to be any type of society without insane upheaval, if that is the case and the masses of men will not be able to have children, then you got to make prostitution legal in that case. If we're going to walk into a world where the women said, you know what, I would rather be wife number 8 to the millionaire, near millionaire, and the billionaire, I would rather be wife number 9, wife number 10, 11, 12. I would rather be that than be married to the average Joe that's earning 70 grand a year, $65,000 a year. If women are saying, then the only way for you to balance the scales and not have average men burn this country to the ground is to make prostitution legal. That's the only way. And KMS says, what if the baller dude doesn't want to take on that headache? Those headaches? I think many of them will not do anything more than 1 or 2, maybe 3 wives. It's just too much to take care of women. Not even just the money part, the mental and emotional part. It's just too much. Then I think you will have a whole bunch of Golden Girls type of situation. Right? You're right about this. And KMS says legalized prostitution upends the whole apple cart. There is no other way. There is no, you are watching society rip at the seams now because the women are throwing a temper tantrum, and that's working class white women, that's some Asian women, that's Latina women, obviously black women. They're throwing a temper tantrum that they're not rich elite white women. You're watching society rip at the seams because the women are throwing a temper tantrum. They're holding out for Chad Chaddington, whether Chad Chaddington probably be a white dude, but Chad Chaddington be a white dude, Latino dude, Asian dude, Arab, Persian, South Asian, indigenous. They're holding out for Chad Chaddington, and society's ripping at the seams. It's one of the reasons, at least, that society is ripping at the seams. So no, I agree with what you're saying, KMS. What I'm saying, there has to be a way to balance this. So unless the US and other Western nations, quote unquote developed nations, find a way to get women off of this insanity, then you're either going to de-incentivize them by making the work that women primarily do, you either automate it, you pay them less, you let inflation bite into that pay, so essentially you pay them less by proxy, or you make prostitution legal for the women that really mean it. It's the baller man or nothing. And on the other end, you give men something by making, no, excuse me, you make polygamy legal for the women that are saying it's the baller man or nothing. Let's see if they really mean it. And on the other end, you give men something by making prostitution legal. There has to be some way to balance the scales here, because the men are not signing up more and more. And shout out to our grandfathers and our great grandfathers, but the men are not signing up for being baby daddy number 4, 5. I know some of our granddads, and that's one of the most open kept secret. Is some of our granddads, maybe even some of our fathers, but some of our granddads and great granddads signed up for that. Grandma had 3, 4 kids from 3, 4 different men, and then here come granddad marrying her and giving her the 5th kid. Or grandma had 4 kids from 2 different men, and here come granddad giving her the 5th kid, and he's the 3rd marriage. Huh? These young men are not signing up for that. It's insulting. What makes him special? We are human beings. People want to feel special. Women want to feel special. Men want to feel special. Ain't nothing special about being wife, excuse me, husband. In the black community, you might as well be the wife. Um, there's nothing special about being husband number 3 or 4. It's your first kid or your second kid, and it's her 4th kid. There's nothing special about that, and I'm not even counting how many different dudes she gave the vagina to that never married her. It's nothing special about being dude number 13, dude number 32, dude number 56, dude number 106. There's nothing special about that. These young men, I would argue, these young men are not signing up for that, right? I would argue these young men are not signing up for that, right? So yeah, I agree with you, KMS, on what's the incentive. Women aren't asking themselves that about men. They think just the vagina should be enough. Their presence should be enough, and that's for the ones that are willing to give you the vagina, right? Terrell says now serving 137, right? That's the dating scene that we are faced with, particularly in America, particularly as black men in America. That's the dating scene, huh? Women who have convinced themselves that the sun shines from their rear end, huh? in that paying for the third date is dusty behavior. Having a woman pay for the third date is dusty behavior. Yeah, and low key darkness is Pops knew he was getting cooperation. You're right. I forgot to add that on into my calculus. You are supposed to be in because women are having less children, so let's take that one off the table. Okay, fine. You are supposed to be guy number. Okay, and if the numbers are supposed to be believed, the we're not talking about the top 20% of women that are doing everything with every dude. The average woman, let's okay, fine. She has 7 partners in her life. You're supposed to be guy number 7, right? We'll be nice. Let's say, let's go off of what the official, air quotes, official numbers say. You're supposed to be guy number 7, guy number 8, right? That's what you're supposed to be. She's supposed to be cold and calculated with you, and you're supposed to make up for all of the guys who didn't do what she wanted them to do. Oh, don't forget, she's settling for you, right? And she ain't gonna cooperate. That part. Huh? And Harambe says they never tell that story. Always grandpa with the outside kids. Yeah, they always talk about granddad with the family on the other side of town that the kids find out about at granddad's funeral. They never talk about the fact that grandma married granddad with and grandma and granddad lied about Uncle Louis being his son when they both know Uncle Louis wasn't his son. Uncle Louis was just too young to know. Oh wait, that ain't my dad. They never admit that grandma had 3 and 4 kids from 3 and 4 dudes before granddad even got in the picture. Huh? They never talk about that. You're right. They never talk about that. Huh? And Gilgami says, next time I might as well write waiting for you, Mr. Z, in their comment section. Next time I suspect you'll respond to Abba and Preach video. Man, look, I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, they speaking my language here. Right? And Vince says, paternity fraud is the longest running underreported scam in Black America. Bro, Detroit says that's many cases. There's many cases like that are like that. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Right. Oh, but into what Vince is saying, absolutely. Absolutely. What country is it? Y'all already know what I'm gonna say. What country is it in Africa where they pretty much told the men, look, these women are gonna lie about the kids. Just the kid is yours if we say the kid is yours. If she tell you the kid is yours, the kid is yours. Stop doing the paternity test. But they're finding out that what at least a third of the time when they do it, it's not the man's child. What country is it in Africa? I want to do a whole stream about that actually. Right? How insulting is you put another child on a man, and he is supposed to be emotionally invested, financially invested, mentally invested for the rest of this child's life, well into adulthood until he passes away. Was it Nigeria? I don't think it was Nigeria. It's not Jamaica, right? Jamaica does have paternity fraud also crazy too, by the way. I'm not talking about it was one country in Africa that I can't remember what it is. Y'all gives you 1 second. Let's see if we can find it.
I think it's Uganda, y'all. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's Uganda. I think it's Uganda. Is it Uganda? Yeah, it looks like it's Uganda. It looks like it's Uganda. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Right. I want to say it's Uganda, but either way, that's better. You say excuse me. Better you says it's Ghana. I have to check. I have to check. Maybe it is Ghana, but it says Uganda from what I looked up. Huh? And that tells you a lot. So I agree with Vince. The paternity fraud thing. Women have been pulling this for, well, in Black America for centuries, definitely decades, but for centuries. But on planet Earth, oh boy, since the beginning, huh? And think about how insulting it is to a man to say, "Yeah, I cheated on you," or "Yeah, um, um, right when I ended it with this guy, I started talking to you and dating you and having sex with you, and so close that I knew it was a possibility that this child wasn't yours, but I said it was yours anyway because I didn't want anything to do with the other dude, or because you're more stable. So because I told you it's your kid, it's your kid." Y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. All right, y'all. Y'all know it's reckless stream, so we got to end it out. And let me read this now. And KMS says, "Modern women, you are simply bad products. Stan Edgar, the boys." Look, no, they really are. And what we saw here with this conversation about drizzle and dating and how the women are seeing what dating is that they're bad product. They're spoiled brats, as I continue to say. And they see men as nothing but walking wallets and overglorified guard dogs and the occasional sex toy, the occasional vibrator, right? And it's all about their pleasure, and you are supposed to entertain them, period, right? You are supposed to entertain them. So shout out to Alba for this. Shout out to Preach. Um, that part, right? That part. What Abba said and what Preach said, and miss, don't be let it be lost on you that Preach did speak about worship, and a lot of these women seeing love as worship. Worship them because of their insane inferiority complex or whatever woman they're comparing themselves to, whatever delusions they have playing on in their mind. Worship them, right? And also, as Abba said, these are women that have money and they still looking for men to spend even more money on them. And that gives you 1 second. I know I'm Morgan. And we're back. But yeah, yeah. So I wanted to cover this because I was like, yeah, Abba and Preacher definitely speaking my language with this, and I'm gonna continue to cover stories like this because half of the reason why we're not forming families is because of this delusion.
I would argue much of the reason that we're not forming families in America anymore is because of this delusion. And women, to their credit, saying, yeah, if I can't have this, I don't want anything. If I can't have a paymaster that shuts the hell up, I don't want anything. And are some women fretting about that? Yes. But do other women really mean it? Yes. Yes. Some of those women have YouTube channels and TikTok pages, etc., etc. There is a consequence to that worldview. Yes, there is. Right? Huh. So Abba and Preach pretty much broke it down like I told y'all last night, right? Yeah, that part. Right. And shout out to Abba and Preach for this. They said what men think. Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. They said what we think. And yes, this is what women are on. Of course they are. And then you have the old heads, like I said, Dave Ramsey and Steve Harvey, who are telling you, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. Absolutely not. Not Z. Pay for 2 dates. She paid for the 3rd date. Y'all don't work out and then she want to send you half the bill. Get out of here. Because once again, her money is her money and your money is her money. Get over it, men. Right. That's what they're saying. So on that note, y'all, we will pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all day. I might come to y'all later on this afternoon or tonight. We'll see with something I'm thinking about. Let it be known. Y'all heard it here first. Y'all stop counting Kamala out. I'm letting y'all know. You never know. Yes, it is Trump's election to lose, but he can fumble the bag. He already fumbled that VP pick, but we'll see. Right? So y'all heard it here. I'm going to listen to Art New Style stream from last night and let's see. But yeah, I'm letting y'all know now. Y'all, all right. It's not as impossible as many are making it out to seem. Right? And shout out to FD. He is 100. And I've been saying that, so I'm glad I said it. And I have it on wax from saying it. I said it, yes. Trump's numbers went up with everybody except for white men last election. For those of you that recall Z saying that before, Trump's numbers went up with everyone except for white men. And white men are a large enough population that because Trump's number did not go up, it actually decreased with white men. Even though it increased with black women and black men and Latinos and Latinas and whoever else, the white numbers decreasing more than made up for that. And so Trump lost. Right? And so we'll pause right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great, great rest of y'all day. And Mr. Z out.